Welcome back, everyone. I am the Depressed Dior, and this is Arkham Horror the card game, doing the Forgotten Age. So, City of Archives. You remember very little of the next few days. Your consciousness fades in and out as your body grips with exhaustion, and your mind feebly attempts to comprehend what exactly has happened to you. The inhabitants of this place are the same creatures you saw Alejandro consorting with, immense corrugated cones of clammy flesh with four thick limbs extending from the top. They are horrifying to look upon, but they do not harm you as you might expect that they might. Your first few days are spent restrained and questioned by the creatures, several of which are somehow able to communicate in English. Others reproduce your language using an odd futuristic machine, play like a musical instrument. You are reminded strangely of the jazz piano at the Nightingale. It is only then that you realize your body has been altered. You have no hands or fingers to play the keys, no legs to walk upon, no lungs to scream out. You are one of them now, one of the creatures that has taken you captive, and your original body is nowhere to be seen. Despite your captivity, the creatures do not seem intent on harming you. Instead, they merely interview you, asking all manner of questions about a broad range of topics: your society, your profession, your technology, your ecosystem, your human body. Their thirst for knowledge is unyielding, unending. Their questions range from the mundane to the complex. They implore you to write copiously in your own language, taking anything you write to store away in their vast archives. You are informed that you will be able to roam the city freely if you comply. We can either cooperate or refuse. We're going to refuse. These creatures abducted you and even stole you from your own body. You refuse to give your captors even a single answer. You'd spit in their faces if you could, if you knew how to spit with such a body. And if you knew which one of the creature's four distinguishable appendages was a face. Breaking free of your restraints is a hopeless endeavor, but you struggle to escape regardless. Your efforts do not go unnoticed, and one of the creatures is assigned to watch you. It seems more concerned with preventing you from harming your body than preventing you from escaping. After many days of captivity, you find a way to use this to your advantage. You struggle so hard against your restraints that they pierce into your leathery, cold flesh, drawing out a bit of viscous slime blood. Your guard quickly approaches, clicking its claws together repeatedly. It undoes your restraints, and the moment it does, your claw appendages strike at what you believe to be the creature's throat. It collapses to the floor, writhing in pain. In your campaign log, record that the investigators resisted captivity. And then we go to setup. Before drawing opening hands, each investigator searches their deck and play area for all unique item assets. Set each of those assets aside out of play. They do not exist in this time period. So anything. So unique cards are anything that has this little star icon to the left of it. So I believe it's mainly just for these items, because these are unique item assets. Yeah, I misread this multiple times. I originally thought it was you lose all your items. Set each of those assets aside out of play. They do not exist in this time period. Blah, 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 blah. The Necronomicon, oddly enough, is not unique. Which makes sense, because there's like, I don't know, 4 different versions now. I'm just making sure. I think we're good. So all unique item assets. It's mainly just to to say that you don't have the Relic of Ages, because it's not with you. Oop, grabbed that by accident. You might also notice we look a little different. Anyway, before drawing your open hands, if you have Alejandro Vela in their deck, you search for it and set them aside, and then replace each investigator card with the body of Yithian. We'll talk more about that in a bit. If the investigators resisted captivity, we put different things in for the most part. So we'll go ahead and do that real quick. So this is resisted, and this is cooperate. Place. All right, did that for us. So this is going to get... was it the other two just get shuffled randomly? Yeah, so you just randomize them and then split them. Like so. Okay. And then we will start at the arrival, or not the arrival. We're going to start at the restraining chamber, which is going to be up here. Okay. And then if we resist a captivity, you search the encounter set for a Yithian observer and put it in the victory display, which it did for me already. And hey, we're already 1 XP in. I don't think I've ever cooperated. So the benefit of cooperating is you start with clues, which can be helpful. Everything else gets set aside, so we're good to go. So it's going to talk about the body of the Yithian stuff. Each investigator's deck is the same, but for the duration of the scenario, you must use the body of the Yithian investigator card. You still use your own mini card, so you can actually keep track of things. Any trauma that would be normally placed on your investigator is going to be transferred to the body of Yithian. And then any cards that were attached to or placed underneath your investigator card are also placed attached underneath the body of Yithian. And for the purposes of the duration of the scenario, anything that specifically references you is just going to reference the body of the Yithian. So if there's like, so you can still use your exclusives in most cases. And technically it's just letting you know you're not supposed to use it outside of the City of Archives unless otherwise noted. Though some people have done challenge runs where they play as a Yithian. Alright, let's go ahead and shuffle this deck here. I don't think we need to worry about these anymore, so we'll set these aside. Shuffle again. Alright, so there are 3 agendas. City of the Great Race, somehow you have awoken in a futuristic city inhabited by odd alien creatures beyond your imagining. You must explore this strange place if you are to find a way out, but your new body is difficult to get used to. Investigators cannot put item assets into play, including item weaknesses. 5 doomed to advance. Over here we have 3 acts. Exploring Nakotis. Getting out of this strange city might be harder than you thought. Its halls are endless and filled with all manner of complex futuristic machinery. Each copy of Yithian Observer gains aloof, and it's 4 clues to advance. Yeah. So for right now, despite our murder, the Yithian's observers aren't going to pick on us just yet. I'll talk about the location we're starting in. The interview room, restraining chamber. 4 shroud, 2 clues, victory 1. As an action, you can parlay to do either an intelligence or combat 4 test to interrogate the captive mind restrained here. If you succeed, or you can remember that you interviewed a subject. And if you fail, you take 2 horror. Alright, so let's talk about being a Yithian. So, monster Yithian, captive in another form. 2s in all of your stats. Each of your ally assets gain the Yithian trait, which is just some flavor, I believe. As a reaction, after you commit a card to a skill test you are performing, double the skill icons on that card, limit once per test. So you can only double one of your skill cards and only for your own test. So if you commit to someone else's test, you can't double them. And then the Elder Sign is +2, and you get to draw a card, which is honestly one of the best Elder Sign effects. And then we all have 7/7 as our health and sanity, which of course we do start with our trauma. All right. I want to go ahead and so for the most part, the big issue here. Also, I guess we could talk about the back of this. Deck size, what it used to be when you were human. Yithians can't build decks, and then requirements do not count towards deck size. Do you remember? And then the morbid temptation to look down at myself became greater and greater till one night I could not resist it. At first, my downward glance revealed nothing whatever. A moment later, I perceived that this was because my head lay at the end of a flexible neck of enormous length. Retracting this neck and gazing down very sharply, I saw the scaly, rugose, iridescent bulk of a vast cone 10 feet tall and 10 feet wide at the base. That was when I waked half of Arkham with my screaming as I plunged madly up from the abyss of sleep. So yeah, this scenario can be very dangerous because if you're not prepared to have your stats set on that 2 and being expected to commit cards, you can find yourself in a pretty rough spot. Also, in the right now, we also can't use items, so if you're very reliant on item assets, that can also be very, very difficult. That's part of the reason why I went with Mystic Mandy rather than Rogue Mandy, because I figured Mystic Mandy is a little bit more skill-focused than Rogue Mandy. Granted, Rogue Mandy does have access to things like 3 aces and things like that, but it was also just to be, very consistent against the mythos, and obviously to get prepared for this. Rita may have some trouble here. She's definitely not going to be very useful in combat. Her main combat way of dealing with monsters is to use her ability, and she doesn't have her ability anymore. That being said, I do have stuff that at least help for clooving, so we're probably just going to try to speed run as much as we can. At the very least, we did start out with one Yithian Observer already dead, so hopefully that'll make things a little bit easier on us. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and put a break here and BRB. Again, I forgot about the talk about the tokens, so I'll do that before I put the break in. Skull, -1, -3 instead if you have 5 or more cards in your hand, so right off the bat you're going to be starting with a -3. Cultist and Elder Thing is -2, and if you fail, you place one of your clues on your location, so it kind of resets you. And then if you have tablets, it's -3, and if you fail, discard one random card from your hand, which is pretty rough. So yeah, we only have Elder Things, so the highest thing right now is a -3 token, which is at least somewhat okay. All right, BRB. All right, unfortunately, I did make a mistake. It was the item thing. It wasn't too big of a mistake, but it did kind of affect my actions. It also meant I should have taken some even more horror at a certain point. Besides that mistake, though, it was an okay start. Our pace was insanely good, despite the amount of enemies we spawned. And then the random tarot card I got for Mandy was the one where you can't mulligan and can't auto discard the weakness, which was kind of annoying, but wasn't too bad. And then Rita's card was the one where you can ignore the first doom on the last agenda, which honestly wasn't very useful because this particular scenario I don't want to stick around to the last agenda. So unfortunately, as always, I'm going to reshuffle everything and just go here. So we'll shuffle these two first, and then we'll go into this. Also, I'll talk about the library pass. It's permanent, so it won't get. It's not being placed, so it does stay out. Granted, it can't really do anything for me because I still can't bring anything into play that's an item, which is a very key thing here. Shuffling the encounter deck again, and we'll shuffle this, and we'll see what we get this time. It'll probably be something worse. It's the ally one. Yep, search deck for an ally and then remove it. So I'm going to go ahead and just set this over here, and we'll just go and grab that Mr. Rook and get him out of here. It's a little rough, but not the end of the world. I mean, I don't have Mandy's ability, so Mr. Rook isn't as powerful. He'll still be useful, but he isn't as powerful. All right, I'm going to go ahead and shuffle. Actually, before we do that, I'm going to go ahead and shuffle and get out 3 tarot cards for the Observed. Cancel the first doom. Okay, that was that one. During each investigator's first turn, they may take 2 additional actions, and then each investigator begins with 3 additional resources. We'll go with the Sun. So this will give you 2 extra actions. And then it'll be useless. Okay, and now we'll do this. Shuffle, search, that one, that one, that one, that one. Yeah, but I'll say I definitely got a lot more enemies than I have ever gotten in this thing, went on the scrapped run. All right, so those cards are okay. I do need to shuffle and then draw 7 cards. Okay, not bad. I'll have the Grim Memoir, have the Burning Midnight Oil, get this, get that. Perception, we'll start with it. I'm not too concerned about Deny Existence right now or Occult Theory. I mean, to be honest, we can go without the Perception as well. I definitely want the Economy. I'm just thinking how much Economy do we actually need, though? Yeah, we'll just stick with it. 3 cards. 1. Oh, sorry, the relic ages needs to be removed. 2, 3, which also means the field book is probably still in here too. We'll take that out. Alright. And then the rest of this gets shuffled back in. Yeah, unfortunately, the segment of Onyxes and the Grim Memoirs can't be used until we can actually use items. Alright, and then over here, deal to orange. Starting with an Out of Crossroads isn't bad. Burn After Reading is really good. I'm fine with starting with a Resourceful. We'll tag out the Long Shot. I'll tag out the Resourceful as well, actually. Okay, that's not terrible. Yeah, for this location, that's actually not bad. Alright, we'll shuffle this back in. And we'll go ahead and get started. Shuffle this, shuffle this, shuffle this one more time, and we'll try this again. I think we already talked about this location, so we'll just go from there. Okay. So. Oh, I need to resolve Out of Crossroads. I'll do that now. I'll draw 3 cards. Like so. Okay. That is a strong start. I'm going to go ahead and start with Rita. I'm going to go ahead and spend one of our extra actions here. I'm going to go ahead and spend, I'll go ahead and get a Sheriff's Keepsake first. Second action, I'm going to go ahead and spend one and do Burn After Reading, and I'm going to exile my Meat Cleaver. Actually, I'm going to exile the Long Shot. I mean, I might end up exiling both at this rate, but we'll exile any. This will be a level 0 card, so it's just going to get rid of 2 clues. Or it'll get us 2 clues without a test. And then these will be over here for now. Alright. I still have 2 actions remaining. So I'm going to go ahead and move to the Halls of Nakotis, Eastern Corridors. At this point, it appeared the desert sands lay directly upon a floor of some titan structure of Earth's youth, and how preserved through aeons of geologic convulsion. I could not then and cannot now even attempt to guess. 3 Shroud, 1 clue. As a lightning bolt during your turn, choose and discard a card from your hand. Move to another copy of Halls of Nakotis. So there's the Eastern Corridor, Western, and Northern. They're all the same. Later, I had visions of sweeping through cyclopean corridors of stone and up and down gigantic inclined planes of the same monstrous masonry. Okay. Next, I'm going to go ahead and we're just going to go ahead and move and check out one of these rooms. Interview room. All of them have the same back. Meanwhile, the displaced mind thrown back to the displacer's age and body would be carefully guarded. It would be kept from harming the body it occupied and would be drained of all of its knowledge by trained questioners. Okay. This is the Arrival Chamber. 2 Shroud, 0 clues. As a reaction, after your turn, after you begin your turn in this location, if there's a Yithian enemy in this location, draw 1 card. There were colossal round windows and high arched doors and pedestals or tables, each as tall as the height of an ordinary room. Okay, that is it. I'm going to go ahead and put away the sun because it's not going to do anything anymore. And that is it. Mandy, you have a task. Should you accept it? So this is a 4 test. And we have a perception. I can go 8 to 4 easily enough. but then I'll put a million cards in my hand. All right, we're going to go ahead and do Ancestral Knowledge. And I'm going to grab the Survey the Area. And I'll double it with my ability. So that's going to be, I'm doing the parlay check, by the way. So I'm at 2. This gives 2 by itself. I'll double it to 4. So I'm at 6. And I will commit a Grim Memoir to make it 7. So we're 7 to 4. Please don't fail. Okay, we pass. We can note that we have interviewed a subject. Technically, if you're going blind, you don't know what that actually means, but anytime we've seen this in previous campaigns, usually doing those is helpful. Speaking of being helpful, I'm going to go ahead and spin 3 to do a Get Out Pathfinder, and I'll exhaust it to move over here to Halls of Nakotis. I could do an investigate check and see if I can get anything from this. To be honest, I'd rather do that when I can actually pass it, though. So, let's see, worst case scenario. I'm going to draw a card as my last action. Well, that's fine. I can live with that. Rather search that out, but that's okay. Enemy phase, there are no enemies. Upkeep. Alright, a Bum Rush. First Doom. Crypt Chill. Willpower 4 test. If you fail, choose and discard an asset you control. Got it. Let's go ahead and do a Ancestral Knowledge. I'm going to pick this Occult Theory and double it. That'll put me at 6 to 4, and then commit an Occult Evidence, 7 to 4. We passed just barely. I'd rather not lose my Pathfinder. Over here, Obscuring Fog on this location. Perfect. No complaints there. Okay. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and have Rita move twice. 1, 2. Actually, do we want to do it that way? Let's first action draw a card. Okay. And then I'm going to spend 2 actions, moving. Yeah, I can live with that. 1, 2. So this one is 1 Shroud, 2 Clues. After you enter this location, test Willpower 3, take 1 horror for each point you fail by. An unidentifiable ooze covers the large table near the center of the chamber. The remains of a failed experiment or something worse. Ichor-filled chamber. I don't really have anything I can commit besides the burn after reading, so I'm just going to go 2 to 3. I take only 1 horror. That's actually not bad. Okay. All right. Looking pretty good so far. Let's go to Mandy. Mandy can go in there, but that would actually cause some pain, and I don't exactly want to cause that pain. So I'll spend 3 to get out Mr. Rook. And then I'll use Mr. Rook and search top 9. There's our weakness. It was going to be our next card, so it's a good thing we got rid of it anyway. Yithian Presence. Put it into play in your threat area. If there's a Yithian enemy at your location, you cannot investigate that location or trigger action abilities on encounter cards, including this card. Choose and discard 2 cards from your hand to discard it. Okay. Noted. All right. I'm going to go ahead and pathfind. Over to here. Halls of Nokotis, Western Corridors. Same text as before. Okay. Next, I'm going to go ahead and draw a card. And I will go ahead and do a... I'll go ahead and do an investigate with burning the midnight oil. I'll gain 2 resources, and I'm just going to go 2 to 3. If I fail, I fail. I do fail. Alright, and then last action, I am going to go ahead and draw 1 more card. Okay, I can work with that. Upkeep. Okay. Upkeep. Okay. Mythos. Captive Mind. Test willpower 0 regardless of whether this skill test succeeds or fails. Choose and discard all but X cards from your hand. X is the modified skill value of this test. It was not a kidnapping, but an exchange. So what this does is the better you do at it, you discard. Yeah, so right now, what is it? Hold on a second. Is your modified skill value for this test. So I believe that includes like the tokens and stuff. So if you autofill this, you discard your entire hand. But even if I passed with a even if I passed, I still have to like discard down to whatever my value is. Like for example, if I did the, I don't even have that much to put in here anymore. Yeah, I think I'm just going to spend the 1 and take the horror and ward that. Cruel interrogations. Put cruel interrogations into play in your threat area. If an investigator has interviewed a subject, take 1 horror, and cruel interrogations gain surge. I have indeed interviewed a subject, so you cannot take draw actions. As an action, you deal willpower 2. If you succeed, discard it. Okay, so I do take a horror. I'll kill off the keepsake and draw another card. Oh, fuck off, game. Alright, Rotting Remains. I'm 2 to 3. I take only 1. God, that was rough. I can't take draw actions, but that's okay for now. Alright, investigation phase. I'm going to go ahead and start with Rita. I'm going to spend 1 and do burn after reading. And do an exile. We're going to exile the Meat Cleaver. And get 2 clues, which we're just going to immediately spend. Yeah, there's a lot of things that punish you for going fast. Alright, so 4 to advance. Finding your way. You explore the area near your interview chamber for some time, learning more of the city and its dwellers. It is a place of knowledge and research inhabited by beings who call themselves the Great Race of Yith. For the most part, the Yithians allow you to explore the city without troubling you, though some of them follow you about and observe you with keen interest. As you pass through one of the city's meandering halls, you find a panel attached to the wall. It is a technological device you cannot hope to understand. As you stand in front of it, dumbfounded, one of your observers approaches cautiously. It extends one of its claw appendages and manipulates the panel in a convoluted manner. To your surprise, the wall in front of you slides open to reveal another series of halls. The creature steps aside to let you pass. Alright, put in all those locations, and then one of those locations at random will have the custodian. So the way we're going to handle this is we're going to take this, and we're going to shuffle, and the first one's going to have the custodian. Alright, laboratory, which is going to be up here. It's going to have the custodian. And then over here, over here, over here, and... Oop, I did that all wrong. There we go. So library's down here, Tower of Nokotis, Deconstruction Room, Laboratory of the Great Race, and the Yithian Orrery. Okay. And then here, restricted access. You have to find a way back home. Surely, if the Yithians can bring you to this place, there must be a way to return. If 3 of the following are true, you must advance. Found the process, dissected an organ, interviewed a subject, realize what year it is, activated the device, and have control of the custodian. Well, so far, we have the interviewed a subject. Okay, so that was my first action, by the way. Give me 1 second. Okay, so I have 2 actions remaining. Let's, I guess, put that to use. I'm going to go ahead and move to here. And then we're going to move up to here. That'll be it for her. So keyword here is Yithian enemy. Custodians don't count. All right. So for Mandy, I'm going to go ahead and Pathfind move to the Towers of Nakotis. In certain places, I beheld enormous dark cylindrical towers which climbed far above any of the other structures. All right, 2 Shroud, 4 Clues. Victory 2, action, discard any number of cards from your hand, shuffle your discard pile into your deck, and draw cards equal to 1 more than what you discarded. So it's essentially a Wheel of Fortune plus 1. Or I guess card destruction from Yu-Gi-Oh! Plus 1. The Great Sandy Desert Beyond is no escape for you. If you leave, you will never repossess your body. You don't say. All right, I will go ahead and that was a Pathfind move. I'll go ahead and use Mr. Rook. Search top 9. All of these are actually kind of nice. I will take the Practice Makes Perfect. All right. Next, I'm going to go ahead and do Knowledge is Power and reveal this Grim Memoir and investigate this location. I'm 4-2. I will spend 1 to do a Practice Makes Perfect. Search top 9 for a practice card. I'll pick this deduction. Please don't autofail me. Thank you. So I will keep the Grim Memoir in my hand. Deduction will go back into my hand. This gets discarded, and I get 2 clues. Okay. All right. Next. I'm going to go ahead and do Ancestral Knowledge and grab this Eureka. I'm going to do an Investigate action and commit this deduction. I will double the icons for the deduction, so that's going to bring me up to 1, 2, 3, so 5 in total, so 5-2. Oh, actually, 1 second. So I actually passed by 2. 3 if I actually had doubled the deduction from the previous thing, from the Grim Memoir thing with the Knowledge is Power, so I should have drawn a card. And now we'll resolve this. All right, so we'll be 5-2 on this Investigate. And we pass. We'll get both clues here. This will get discarded, and I need to search top 3. I'm going to grab this Eureka. Actually, that Deny Existence sounds really good. Let's grab the Deny Existence just in case. Because how's this card work again? Yeah, choose and discard. Yeah, I think I'll grab that Deny Existence. Shuffled. Alright, we got all the clues here. That's good. With my remaining actions, I'm just going to go straight south. Down to here. Great library, and its vast libraries were volumes of text and pictures holding the whole of Earth's annals, histories, and descriptions of every species that had ever been or that ever would be, with full records of their arts, their achievements, their languages, and their psychologies. 2 shroud, 4 clues. Action, spend 2 clues. Test intelligence 3 to decipher the information you've found. If you succeed, remember that you have found the process. At the end of the round, if there are fewer than 4 clues, you put clues on it to go up to 4. So if you ever need clues, this is completely rechargeable. All right, enemy phase, nothing going on. Upkeep. Upkeep. That's bad. Laboratory of the Great Race, which is going to be over here. We'll talk about him in a second. Surges into lost humanity. Oh, that's a bad one. Test willpower 5. For each point you fail by, remove the top card of your deck from the game. If there are fewer than 10 cards in your deck hand discard pile, you are driven insane. All memories that could be eradicated were eradicated, so that in most cases only a dream-shadowed blank stretched back to the time of the first exchange. At best, I can give myself +2 with the I'm done running. And if I get a minus, I would get a potentially, at worst, a -3, which would mean I still would discard. I would still essentially remove 4 cards. We'll just go 2 to 5. Good luck. All right, I lose 4 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. I'm not at 10 cards, so I'm good. All right. That was just the upkeep, by the way. God damn it. Mythos. Third Doom. Offer a power. You must either draw 2 cards and place 2 Doom on the current agenda, or take 2 Horror. Yeah, it's this card. I will take 2 Horror. I'll use Deny Existence. Thank you. Next, Obscuring Fog. On this location, thank you very much. Okay, investigation. Holy crap. So, let's talk about this guy. Scientist of Yith. 4 fight, 1 evade, 3 health. Monster, Yithian. Spawns at the Laboratory of the Great Race. Aloof if an investigator has activated the device or dissected an organ. Scientist of Yith loses Aloof and gains Hunter. Hits for 2 damage. With what I have right now, I could potentially take him on. It wouldn't be pretty, though. Because I could go... Because I definitely need to kill him. Because getting rid of him would definitely make my life a lot easier. We'll deal with that in a second. First, we can do the thing here, which is found the process. And get out of here. Alright. Let's do Mr. Rook. Search top 9. Because we're going to need all the cards we can get. How far away are we from Destiny here? About 2 rounds. Alright. That Knowledge's power is looking mighty nice. I can use that to blow the guy up. Yeah, I think I'm going to have to grab the Segment of Onyx. The sooner we get that, the better. Yeah, we'll grab it. Can't play it yet, but we have it. Alright. We'll go ahead and do a thing here. Actually, I'll probably just commit the Grim Memoir at this rate. Alright, so we do have 2 clues. I have to spend 2 clues, so I'll spend 2 clues to do the action here. Test book 3. I think I might drop the Existential Riddle at this point. That will put me at what, 5 to 3? Let's just commit the perception. We'll just go with that. I mean, if I draw extra cards, I draw extra cards. I'll double the symbols. We'll go 8 to 3. We succeed. That is -3, so that'll put me at 5 to 3. Yeah, so it's 2 plus 6 minus 3, so yeah, 5 to 3, so I still succeed by 2. Okay, all my promise of powers. All right, so with that, I will make note that we have now found the process. I'm going to go ahead and Pathfind move to here. And then I'm going to move up to here. And since I need to do this anyway, I'll take an action to discard this and discard 2 cards from my hand. I will discard the Existential Riddle and the Grim Memoir. I'm going to regret that. What could I do instead? Let's discard, we'll keep the Existential Riddle. We'll discard Grim Memoir. God, there's so many that are so worthwhile keeping. Yeah, we'll get rid of the riddle. We have other ways to solve certain problems. This will get discarded. And then that'll be it for her. Alright, meanwhile. Alright, Rita. Let's go ahead and move up. Laboratory of the Great Race. It learned all things that were known or ever would be known on Earth through the power of its keener minds to project themselves into the past and future, even through gulfs of millions of years, and study the lore of every age. 2 shroud, 2 clues. Action: if there are no clues on the Laboratory of the Great Race, you can test Agility 3 to manipulate the controls on the technological device nearby. If you succeed, remember that you activated the device. If you fail, place 1 clue on the Laboratory of the Great Race from the token pool. Alright, so that was action 1. So I think for my remaining actions, I'm going to go ahead and just try to get rid of these cruel interrogations. Actually, no. Instead, I will investigate this location. We'll go 2 to 2. -3, I fail. We'll try again. No go. Alright. Enemy phase. Nothing going on, because this guy is aloof for now. Upkeep. Upkeep. Mythos. 4th Doom. Glad I kept the, oh, I didn't keep it. Never mind. We got this asshole now. Scholar from Yith. Monster, Yithian. 2 fight, 2 evade, 2 health. When the Scholar Yith attacks you, discard 2 random cards from your hand. As an action, if Scholar Yith is ready and engaged with you, parlay test book 3 to attempt to pass as a member of the creature's race. If you succeed, draw 1 card and evade Scholar from Yith. If you fail, he attacks you for 1 horror. Meanwhile, over here. Come on. Come on. You gotta stop. You got all 3 cruel interrogations and a crypt chill. Fine. I'm gonna fail it. Yay, I take 2 damage. I'm at 4. I have 4 health and 4 horror left. God damn it. Rita's going to die. Alright. So, I'm going to start with Mandy here. I'm going to go ahead and exhaust this ancestral knowledge to bring out Survey the Land, and I'll evade. I'll double it with my ability, so it's going to be 6 to 2. Alright, you're evaded. I'll Pathfind move up to here. I'm then going to go ahead and attempt to parlay with the Custodian. We'll go ahead and use Occult Theory and double it. I passed by a lot, and I get to draw a card. Thank you. I get to put one of my clues on him. I don't know if we actually read about this guy. The Custodian, Curious Yithian, Ally Yithian. As a reaction, when the investigation phase begins, if you control the Custodian, each investigator at its location can draw a card. Which, unfortunately... Oh, it says can't take draw action, so you can still benefit from this. If the Custodian is not controlled by a player, parlay to do a book 3 to converse with it, and if you succeed, you can something about its mannerism seems familiar to you. Place one of your clues on it, and if there's 2 clues on it, you take control of it. So that's 1 clue. I'll go ahead and parlay again. I guess the question is, I think I have no other choice. So we'll go ahead and do a Promise of Power and double it. This unfortunately will add a curse token. We pass. We get to place a clue on him, and now we have control of him, and now we advance. Because we have found the process, we have interviewed a subject, and we now control the Custodian. The process. You believe you have discovered the process used by the Yithians to transport you here, but the truth is hard to accept. Your body was never brought to this place. Your mind has been transferred into the body of one of these creatures. Somewhere in another place, in another time, one of the reviled creatures dwells in your body. You no longer have to perform any of the following tasks. However, the more you have performed by the time the scenario ends, the easier the transition to your human body will be, and the less likely the process is to fail or backfire. Be careful. Place this act in the victory display with its side phase up as a reminder. Okay. Act 3, Repossession. You have gathered the knowledge necessary to repossess your body, but before you can initiate the process, you must expand your mind. Each Yithian observer gains Hunter. Also recall, while we were in Act 2, observers no longer had Aloof. As an action, you can spend 1 clue to do a draw action. Draw 2 cards instead of 1. If your hands exceeds your maximum hand size, you draw 1 additional card. If each surviving investigator has 10 or more cards in his or her hand, immediately advance. Beware. Remember to complete as many tasks listed on Act 2B as possible. So this is pretty rough to do, mainly because it's supposed to be you have to have everybody at the same time have 10 cards or more in their hand, which is going to become more difficult in a little bit. In the meantime, I believe we have something to do. We need to deal with the scientist of Yith, because he's going to be a problem. The question is how do I do it? I mean, easiest way would be just to beat the crap out of him. So I'm going to engage this guy, and then I'm going to spend 1 to do Sweeping Kick, which is going to be... I get to add my agility to this, so that puts me at 4 to 4 right now. And then I will go ahead and commit this I'm done running and double it. Also, there's one thing there's something I do want to check real quick. I'll be right back. Okay, so I was looking up how this works as far as if it had multiple symbols, because I know you can't, like, for example, this is a fight action that adds your agility. You can't commit, like, a manual dexterity to this. But I was checking to see if, like, a situation like Resourceful, where you can commit it because it has a fight, but it also has an agility. But unfortunately, it will only apply the fight. So with that in mind, right now we're 4 to 4. I can go 6 to 4 and double it with Resourceful, and I can have Mandy help with her own card. I'll commit a Deny Existence. So that's going to put it at, so fight icons being doubled, that puts me at 4. Add my agility, that brings it to 6, and then this will bring it up to 7. So 7 to 4, please succeed. Okay, we do pass. It's going to do 2 damage, and it'll evade the guy. I also succeeded, so I can grab something besides Resourceful from this. I'll grab Chair's Keepsake, because I feel like I need it, and then I'm going to use my last action to go ahead and put it out. Good news is this guy is still aloof, despite the fact I just kicked him in the head. And I have a solution for him, too, with the Elaborate Distraction, so hopefully we can make that work. All right, that is everybody. Upkeep. And upkeep. Okay, look what I found is actually really good. All right, Mythos, we advance. Thank God. The Replicator. As you traverse these strange halls, you come across a chamber you hadn't noticed before. It is filled with trinkets and items of all kinds from various civilizations. Many of them match the description you have given to the city's inhabitants, descriptions of the equipment you had on your person when you first encountered the creatures. Have you somehow replicated the objects you had with you? You take what you can find and continue exploring. Each investigator searches the top 9 cards of his or her deck for up to 2 item assets and draws them. Shuffle each search deck. Note, investigators are now able to put items assets into play. Shuffle the encounter discard pile into the encounter deck. If the custodian is in play and not controlled by an investigator, you move it to the location with the most clues on it. I have control of them, so we're good on that front. This is getting reshuffled, which sucks, but I'll take it. This guy unexhausted, this guy unexhausted. Search for 2 item assets, sorry. I'll search my deck. I have only 1 item asset, which is the Necronomicon. I will put it in my hand. Next, for you, search, was it top 9? Search top 9. Unfortunately, it was a whiff. I mean, I don't have that many items. It also means we're now closer to drawing our hoods again. Anyway, new thing. Lost memories. Little by little, the memories of your former life are starting to fade. The most recent events are the first to disappear, but soon you begin to lose your grip on your human identity. Each investigator's maximum hand size is reduced by 2. So that's what's going to make things a little bit more difficult about meeting that whole 10-card thing. But that's okay. We'll make do. Frozen in Fear. That's annoying. I'm okay with having it, though. And then over here, we have the Keeper of the Great Library. Good thing I took care of that already. Monster, Yithian, 3 fight, 3 evade, 4 health. Spawns in the Great Library, which is over here. Alert Aloof. If an investigator has found the process, which we have, or realized what year it is, he loses Aloof and gains Hunter, hits for 1 and 1. So he's going to start hunting us down. That's why I was kind of in a rush to kind of get this done as quickly as possible, because, like the scientist at Yith, it eventually becomes aggressive. But yeah, we have definitely found the process. Okay. That's okay. We have time. This thing doesn't hunt us, as far as I can tell. Yeah, only Yithian Deserves to have Hunter. We do probably want to deal with that scientist at Yith soon, but for right now, we got things going. So at the start of the investigation phase, we could still do the reaction effect. Do I actually want to, though? Yes. We'll go ahead and do it. We're both in the same location, so that helps too. Okay. That Grizzle will be helpful for the hoods if we draw it. Okay. So, first things first. Spend 3 resources. We now have Pendant of the Queen. That's now on the board. Next, I'm going to investigate. I'm going to commit a deduction and an enrapture and double one of those. So that's going to put us at 5. So that's 2, 3, and I have a 2 already, so I'll be 5 to 2. All right, we're doing good so far. Come on, we can just take us home. Even better. Cool. So I passed. Enrapture will let me put a secret on something or a charge. or a charge. Place a charge or secret on an asset you control. I will put a charge down onto the Pendant of the Queen. And then for the deduction, I'll grab both clues here and get that out of the way. Okay. So that's all taken care of. Next, I'm going to Pathfind move. This is not an action, so it's not going to trigger Frozen Fear. And we're going to move over 1. Yithian Orrery. Ancient Nakotis. I seem to talk in some odd language of claw clickings with exiled intellects from every corner of the solar system. There was a mind from the planet we know as Venus, which would live incalculable epochs to come, and one from an outer moon of Jupiter 6 million years in the past. All right, Victory 1, 4 Shroud, 2 clues. Double action. If there are no clues on the Yithian Orrery, you remember that you realize what year it is. While you are in the Yithian Orrery, you increase your maximum hand size by 2. Cool. What I'm going to go ahead and do here is I'm going to exhaust Library Pass and break out Necronomicon. I'm going to use all the charges on it, or all the secrets on it, rather, and get all these clues. And then I will double action. Remember what year it is, which is fine because we've already pissed off the keeper. Okay. Next, I'm going to go ahead and do Pendant of the Queen now, just to exhaust him and keep him busy. Okay. Next goes to Rita. We got a couple solutions we can play around with here. I think we just want to deal with this guy. So there's no clues on it. I just need to do a foot 3 test. I'm at 2 right now. I can go up to 6 with it. I'm done running. So I'll do that. I'm going to commit I'm done ready and double it. We'll go 6 to 3 and hope it works. As long as it's not an auto-fail, we might be okay. This should have been discarded a while ago. Okay, we did it. So we now know we've activated the device. And then this guy's going to be angry and engage us. I'm then going to go ahead and spend 2 to bum rush. I do an evade check, and I get to add my fight to it. So I'm now 4 to 1. And if I succeed by 2 or more, I will deal 1 damage to this guy, which sounds kind of fantastic. Also at the end of Mandy's turn, this should go on the bottom of the deck, this deck of 5 cards. And then I need to do a willpower check, which is going to be a 2 to 3. I'll just do a 2 to 3 check. Yeah, I'm thinking here. There's not much I can do about it. Yeah, we'll just do 2 to 3. I actually passed. Okay. The only thing I was afraid of is drawing the Elder thing, because that would place a clue down. But that's honestly not the biggest setback at this point. Anyway, back to what I was doing. I'm evading this guy. I'm going to commit an Expeditious Retreat and double it. This will put me at 10 to 1, which is honestly overkill. You know what? Let's not do that. Do I have anything else I can commit, though? Not really. Yeah, we'll just Expeditious Retreat. So, 10 to 1. Please work. We succeed by a bunch. It's going to do 1 damage and kill him. Okay. Last action. I'm going to go ahead and move over to the deconstruction room. They were only partly material, as we understand matter, and their type of consciousness and media of perception differed wholly from those of terrestrial organisms. Okay. As you can probably guess, this has the final task. 3 Shroud, 2 clues. As an action, test a combat 4 to attempt to retrieve a valuable organ from one of the alien cadavers. This test gets +1 difficulty for each clue on the deconstruction room. If you succeed, remember that you dissected an organ. Alright, that's probably what we're going to use the Promise of Power to deal with. Okay, that is everything. Enemy phase, this guy is exhausted. This guy doesn't have Hunter. Upkeep, heal unexhaust. Upkeep, go on this. Upkeep, go on this. Okay, and then Mythos, first Doom. Our maximum hand size is 6, though technically Mandy's is 8 because of the location. But other than that, we got things going on here. So I can go up to... Yeah, I'm going to need Mandy to go over there to deal with that issue, which is not a big deal. We can make this work. Alright, Mythos cards. Hithian Observer. Okay, you're here now. Alright, we've seen these guys before. 4 fight, 3 evade, 4 health, monster Yithian. When Yithian Observer attacks you, discard 1 card at random from your hand. If you cannot, he'll deal an additional +1 damage and horror. Victory 1, hits for 1 and 1. Locked door goes to the location with the most clues, which is thankfully down here. Okay. So these guys have Hunter now. So that's a problem we need to deal with. And I unfortunately don't have too many solutions we can work with. What do we have left in here? We have a perception. Okay. I can easily get the clues, but we do need to deal with this guy, and I'm running out of options to how to deal with him. I think I'm just gonna have to bite the bullet for that one. I'm gonna use Pin of the Queen to auto evade him. As much as I would love to get victory, I got better things to do. I'm gonna Pathfind move to here, and then move. Oh, also I need to draw a card for Custodian. Sorry about that. Sound support. That's not too bad. I'll move here. So I have 2 actions. And we definitely want to get these clues. I'm going to do Knowledge is Power, get this Perception in my hand. I'm going to commit it to Investigate. Double it, so it'll be 8 to 3. We succeed by a lot. Get 2 cards. Get a clue. We have literally 2 cards left in the deck. So I can go 10 to 5 on this. I'll go ahead and do that. I'm going to go 10 to 5. Commit it, get a curse token from that. We'll commit a Dirty Fighting. We'll go 11 to 5. We pass. So we got this. So all we need to do is just get the clue and then get 10 cards. That is all we need to do now. Problem is, we need to get all these cruel interrogations off, like, a while ago. And I do have too many cards in my hand right now, but that's okay. Oh, I should have done a Burning of the Midnight Oil. That's my bad. That's okay. We'll just make do. Enemy phase. He's coming. Upkeep. He's unexhausted. I'll just power. Let's get rid of the Burning the Midnight Oil. Okay. Mythos. Second Doom. Yithian Presence. We're fine. Locked door. It's a tie, isn't it? Most clues? Yep. It'll be a tie. Down here. Good thing I got that clue out of there then. Alright. Alright, Custodian's going to activate at the start of the investigation phase. I will activate it, get this card in my hand, get that card in my hand. Okay, I can definitely get the cards I need. The issue is helping her get the card she needs. So I'm thinking, how are we going to do this? Well, I think the best option draw 2 cards. Unfortunately, you don't have clues. Okay. So, the Yithian Observer we need to deal with. Yeah, because and we do have a way of dealing with it. Okay. This is what we'll do. Pin to the queen. Actually, let's do this in the right order. Yeah. I'm going to spend an action to move with Rita over to here, and then double action, spin 3 to do... Actually, don't do that. Not yet. Not yet. Let's... Alright, let's take a step back. Alright, I'm going to go with Mandy. I'll grab the clue here for the pinch of the queen. I'm going to Pathfind move. Then move again. Get engaged by you. I will Knowledge his power, reveal the Necronomicon to do 3 damage. Let's see. Actually, can we do it the other way? I'm just seeing what I can do. Okay. Let me rewind again. Plan. Gotta get this plan together. So before you do any of your fancy stuff. I'm fine with rewinding because I'm not doing any skill tests yet. But I'm going to do a skill test right now, actually. Alright, I'm pinning the queen. I'm still doing that, grabbing the clue. I'm going to go ahead and activate one of these cruel interrogations and commit Eye of Truth and double it. So it's going to be 10 to 2. Please work. Good. So this one's going to get set into the victory display with it. So now all future ones will have those symbols. And then I will go ahead and do it again. It's just going to be straight 6 to 2 here. Got it. I'm going to go ahead and Pathfind move and move. Just like before. Get engaged by you. And then I'm going to blast him with the Knowledge's power. And then that'll be it. Okay. Next, we'll have Rita go. All the way over to here. I'm going to go ahead and try to punch the Yithian Observer. I'm going to commit Resourceful and double it to bring me up to 4. I'm at -1, so I fail by 1. I'll play the Lucky to pass and do 1 damage and kill it. Alright, draw a card for that. And then from my discard, I can grab anything from this that's not resourceful. I'll grab the Expeditious Retreat just in case. And that's it. Alright. Enemy phase. That guy's coming. Upkeep. We will end up taking a horror for this. Out of Crossroads is going to trigger. I will lose an act. Ooh, how's that work? This is not a draw action, so I can do it. I'll lose an action and draw 3 cards. 1, 2, 3. Hello, Hoods. Okay, he has 7. She has 7 cards in her hand, which is unfortunately not. Well, actually, it could be enough. Okay, we can work with this. Mythos, 3rd Doom. Yeah, and just remember, it's -2 max hand size, but we're now in this location, so we're good on that front. And we have 6 of the things done. All right, we're engaged with this guy. Offer a power, take 2 horror. I will take the 2 horror and blow this up. Okay. Investigation phase. You cannot investigate that location or trigger action abilities on encounter cards. This is not an action ability, so we'll go ahead and trigger that. Both of us draw a card. Okay. So I have 7 cards in my hand. And Body of the Yithian. Rita has 8 cards in her hand. And is engaged with Hoods right now. Hoods will only do 2 horror and 2 damage with my remaining 2 actions, but I can't take an action because of this thing. Okay. Okay. I could evade it, but it's going to hit. It'll hit me as well, which might be okay. All right. So I can get this out. That'll put me at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cards in hand. I can get 2 cards. Kill this thing. Try to get rid of this thing. Now put me at what? Let's see, just real quick. Only ally assets get the Yithian trait, so this guy is just here. Alright. Library Pass, Necronomicon. I need to deal with this guy, so I'm going to deal with this guy. Actually, what's he do? He discards 2 random cards. Got it. If I use the Pin of the Queen to evade him, I would then have enough to do everything else without issue. But I won't be able to activate anything. So yeah, never mind. I'm going to go ahead and spend the 4 secrets. Yeah, if there's an enemy at your location, that's the key word. All right. And we'll blow this guy up. Give me 1 second. Okay, spending the 4 secrets, kill this guy. My weakness is also still in this deck. I'll go ahead and spend 2 secrets to draw 2 cards. Okay, we're good on that front. And I haven't even taken an action yet. I'm going to go ahead and... No Yithians in this location, or no Yithian enemies. I do have an ally. I'm going to go ahead and try to get rid of this Cruel Interrogations. So it'll be 6-2 thanks to the Eye of Truth. Good to go. I get to draw a card because of that. This goes away. I'm at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 cards in my hand. I'll go ahead and spend a clue to do this effect. I will draw 2 cards instead of 1. 1, 2. If I'm exceeding my hand size, which I am, I'll draw an additional card. Boom. I'll use the last charge of the Pin of the Queen to evade the Hoods. It'll do 1 and 1 to me, which I'll just use to kill Rook, Mr. Rook. And then I guess I'll spend 2 to get out the sound support, because this is fine to have. All right. And then it goes to Rita's turn. She can take draw actions now. She'll draw 2 cards. 10 cards, 10, 11 cards. If each surviving investigator has 10 or more cards in his or her hand, immediately advance. Back to the Future. The machine whirs with intense vibration. It has taken many hours to construct, and you have had to build it in secret, using the knowledge you have gathered from the various areas within the city. It is a strange device of rods, wheels, and glass about the size of a small filing cabinet. A circular mirror in the center sends your alien reflection staring back at you. You activate the device, and you feel a tugging on your psyche, stretching your consciousness across the aether of time and space and time. The memories come flooding back. Resolution 1. So real quick. We have dissected an organ, activated the device, realized what year it is, found the process, interviewed a subject, and we had control of the custodian. So we had all 6. All right. You awaken on the cold stone surface of the cavern floor, your mind dizzy from its journey through time and space. Check the number of tasks on Act 2B that were completed during the scenario. If all 6 were completed, record in your campaign log that the process was perfected. Each investigator earns 4 bonus experience as they gain insight into the secrets of the Earth. And then we each, if you didn't, it'll backfire, and if it did really bad, it'll backfire spectacularly. Each investigator earns experience equal to victory X value of each card in the victory display. So we have 8 in total. We got both the Yithian observers, and we got all the locations. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 7, 8. So yeah, 8 more experience, putting us at 12 and 12. All right. Interlude. We'll go ahead and resolve this real quick. If the process backfired, each investigator would have to reveal a random token. We didn't. If it did it spectacularly, we have to reveal 2. And essentially, you kind of you can either get weaknesses or end up being stuck as a Yithian, essentially. Check the chaos bag in the campaign log. If all are true, none of these are true. One of these is true. Actually, no, both of these are true. So we don't have enough tablets. We did rescue Alejandro, and we do have the custodian, but unfortunately that's not enough. We have to do all 3. Yeah, if any are not true, read Forever Lost instead. You turn your attention to your surroundings. Both Alejandro and the creatures that ambushed you are nowhere to be found. You wonder how long Alejandro was in league with them and why. Perhaps you will never know. However, you suspect this is not the last you will see him. In your campaign log, record that Alejandro is set against you, and if he's in someone's deck, you remove him. Yep, set against us. All right. The narrow steps on the other side of the stone doorway seem almost endless. Through a dim red glow emanates from deeper within the cavern. No matter how many steps you traverse, the glow does not brighten. It almost seems to grow more distant with each step, mocking your tenacity. After a short while, you come to a small ledge where a stone gate bars your passage deeper into the cavern. The gate bears a familiar carved pattern, faded from age and disrepair, and seeping with an oddly discolored purulence. If any investigator has the chalk, you do. The way is open. The situation sparks your memory, and you consult the expedition journal. The pattern is similar to one found in the Etzley ruins. Using your chalk and the drawings in your journal as a reference, you restore the glyph in its entirety, and the grooves glow brightly once more. The stone gate lifts on its own, and you are able to continue onward. You suffer no ill effects. Check your supplies. The investigators as a group must cross provisions off, and else you will have low on rations. We only have 1. I'm gonna give it to Mandy. and Rita is going to be low on supplies. Low on rations. Hours later, you're almost too weary to go on. Every inch of your body aches with intense pain. There's nothing in this desolate cavern to eat but the occasional wild mushroom. And although temptation gnaws at your inside, you cannot tell which are toxic and which are healthy. So we're going to have only 2 resources at the start of the next scenario. Check your supplies. No one's poisoned. And then after sending hundreds and hundreds of steps, you decide to stop and rest. Though your watch tells you that night has fallen, the lack of natural sky is starting to affect your internal clock. With no flat ledge in sight, each member of your party claims one of the many narrow steps to sleep on. So everyone has a blanket this time. So though you long for a proper bed, at least your blanket protects you from the frigid chill that permeates the cavern. When morning arrives, your body longs for more sleep, but you know that you must press onward to reach the nexus as fast as you can. So yeah, both people have blankets, so we're good to go on that front. Go ahead and put this back in the deck. All right. So real quick, I'm just going to check something on the setup here. Okay, I believe we get our items back, so I'll just put them back. You go away, you go away. All right. Hopefully I didn't make too many mistakes, but yeah, I pretty much my goal was always to try to beat it before getting out of Agenda 2. It can definitely get really ugly. We were eventually going to run into the Great Library Keeper and the hoods. I didn't really have a solution for. I just tried to blitz my way through. Obviously, getting pelted with constant horror terrified me. I was so used to Rita having 5 sanity that I was actually really concerned. That being said, I still took a lot of extra horror and stuff that I just wasn't ready for. Of course, there's going to be a number of things we need to do for experience, so let's go ahead and do that next. All right, goes without saying, we're back to our normal form, so we got Mandy here, and of course, Rita over here. So 12 experience each. What I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to go ahead and replace the other Enraptured with the remaining Eye of Truth, so I'll have 2 of those now. That's 5 experience. I'm going to go ahead and get Observed, bringing me up to 9, and then I'm going to go ahead and upgrade one of my 2 introductions, so that's 11. So I'm going to have 1 XP to spare, which is fine. But yeah, Observed, so I can at least get some benefit from the tarot deck. And if we happen to do good on the next thing, who knows, maybe we'll get somewhere with that. So that should put everything back in here. God, the fact that we still get wailed on even with all this ridiculous stuff just definitely makes me fearful for the end. Yeah, Rita's lack of fighting and capability is always going to be a concern. I'm hoping we'll just manage with just raw Cluven. So there's 38 cards. I believe that's correct. We had 32 to start, add 5. Oh, sorry, I forgot Mr. Rook, the one that got removed. So that's 39 cards. I had originally 32. I added 5, and then I have 2 story items. Okay, yeah, I think we're good to go on that front. And then for Rita, she also has 12 experience. And we also managed to dodge the bullet and not draw any curse tokens. That's amazing. So obviously I'm going to rebuy my burn after readings, 1 each. And then I'm actually going to go ahead and spend 6 to get out Bewitching, since I have the XP to spare. That'll help kind of prune the deck a little bit. And then instead of, I am going to go ahead and replace the long shot I exiled. But the meat cleaver, I'm going to go ahead and replace it with a fire extinguisher for 3. So this is 6, 9, 10, 11. So I'll have 1 experience to spare as well. Okay. And then that should put us exactly at 33 cards. And then, I mean, yeah, I have 1 experience left, but I don't think I care about upgrading Grizzled anymore. I can now go through here and then put stuff on this. I guess the question is, what do I put on it? Probably a sweeping kick. Has to be 3 different tricks. That's fine. You got an ace in the hole. And I usually do dirty fighting, but honestly, it's generally not a good idea to do that because if I'm engaged with an enemy, then I kind of don't have the time to deal with it. But it at least ensures that I get it sooner than later. So maybe, yeah, we'll go ahead and do dirty fighting. And I'll leave me 30 cards in here. Okay. All right, yeah, overall it's not too bad. Like I said, it's just very chaotic. If you know where you're supposed to go, it makes it a lot easier, obviously. As you probably noticed, I beeline to certain things really soon to try to, like, obviously you want to try to get the Great Library done as soon as possible before the Keeper arrives. I mean, some things you can do is you can go and get the, realize what year it is and lure the guy away from the library and then use if you have a way of teleporting there, you can use that, like, you know, with Pendant of the Queen and things like that. But besides that, it's really, I mean, mostly getting the tasks done are actually pretty easy. It's getting the 10 cards. If you get to Agenda 3, it gets a lot harder to achieve that. And as you probably noticed, there's a lot of things that just prevent you from doing things, like these cruel interrogations, which we had 3 stacked on us. Obviously, rushing to get this interview done definitely hurt us with the cruel interrogations, but that's okay. And then the other thing, of course, was the... where is that card? I had the card, and it's not... Oh, the Yithian Presence. That can also hinder you from doing anything, and it requires you to discard cards to get rid of it. Thankfully, it only affects you if you're at that location. It doesn't affect you if it's connecting like the other previous effects. So it is what it is. I will point out one of the new cards, Spiritual Healing. I think I talked about this in the Half-Life run, but if you do have experience to spare, this is a way to get rid of at least some trauma, which I may do for the next, if we have enough experience next time. But next time it's going to be the Depths of Yoth, and then technically Shatter Aeons is the last scenario, unless in most cases, but it might not be if we do well enough to get the secret scenario. But chances are we might not make it. Depths of Yoth should be at least Depths of Yoth at least should be easy, so we'll get to look forward to that. All right. As always, I apologize for any mistakes I made. Compared to how things started, I definitely have calmed down as we've gotten further along this. I definitely like Threads of Fate the most. I've played it maybe 5, 6, 7 times now, maybe even more. Because usually, like I said, I usually rage around Boundary Beyond, but Threads of Fate I've replayed, and this recording, I guess this playthrough of it, I encountered acts that I had never encountered before. I have never seen Alejandro get abducted by night gods before. So that was completely new. And there's also, of course, other things that can happen depending if you go the other routes besides forging your own path, which will be pretty interesting as well. So maybe in the future I'll be more willing to do this over and over again. But like I said, the biggest issue is this campaign is not really balanced for 2 or for fewer than 3 investigators. Playing with my friends, which is a group of 3, it's the difference of night and day. It's just so much easier. Even with the extra clues I have to get as the main cluever, I'm usually able to keep up with it. I don't have to really stress about the other effects because I have people that actually could go and handle like exploring or, you know, dealing with the enemies, and I can focus more on just the cluing part. That being said, we did have very close calls still on the first 2 scenarios where we ended it with only on the very, very last turn before, you know, dooming out. So it's still just oppressively difficult regardless, no matter what you do. In any case, hopefully Depths of Yoth will be a breath of fresh air, especially since we're going to be going into it with no Yix Fury at all. So, I am the Depressed Hero. This was Arkham Horror the card game, The Forgotten Age with Mandy Thompson and Rita Young. I'll see you guys next time.